If you haven't played Mario Tennis Power Tour for the Game Boy Advance yet, you absolutely need to give it a shot. People kept telling me I need to play this game, and I assumed it would be some kind of sports RPG since it's by Camelot, the devs behind the Golden Sun series of RPGs. It even has the same charm and aesthetic to the name entry screen, and the traditional RPG intro of having your character get woken up from oversleeping in bed. Also, if you're going oog schnork while you sleep, you may need to see a doctor. And while it is a sports RPG, that's really only half the story. See, the reason I love this game is that Camelot's ambitions were to be more than just your run-of-the-mill sports game. They wanted nothing less than to put all the excitement of an entire sports anime right in your pocket. So moment to moment, this means putting as much impact and drama to all those long, tense rallies that end in a signature move that perfectly threads a needle between your opponents. That's the real payoff to the suspense that builds up. Or when everything you try seems to be getting blocked, a great fake-out that catches the other team flat-footed is one of those gaming moments that's so satisfying that it starts to get addictive. But those are the small moments. In the big picture, we have to give your characters a journey to go on, both literally and figuratively as they hone their skills. Like, look at this. Even before you hit the start button, the intro showcases all the NPCs who stand your way to the top, the exact same way you see in an anime opening. Seeing that big lineup of friends, rivals, and distant champions is exactly what makes a sports anime epic in scale. Speaking of scale, this game takes place in a sprawling tennis academy with multiple sets of courts, dorms, training courts for practicing drills, and an entire building dedicated to machine training, which we'll get back to in a second. There's even a 2-story dining hall, though the lack of a minigame for cooking or eating is maybe a missed opportunity. The thing is, it doesn't need to be this elaborate, but I think the fact that they made it this way is a sign that the campus is a place you're going to get to know really well. And I appreciate any game that presents the player with that kind of vision. They could have just made the game automatically progress through, just one match after another. But it's letting the player really feel and interact with these areas that give a game a sense of place, like Thor's Military Academy and Trails of Cold Steel, or the charming old buildings of Hotel Dusk and Last Window. The training courts themselves aren't so much a tutorial, but more like a full-blown curriculum on the game's various mechanics and when you should be using each type of move. While these are entirely optional, most of them feature a format that's kind of like a lesson and then an exam, and some of them actually took me a long time to understand. This mode is actually up there with one of the best tutorial modes in any game ever, which is Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution. Like, I know it takes a bunch of extra time to code up one of these things, and honestly, probably 95% of players are literally never going to engage with it. From a dev standpoint, I understand why that might seem like a waste. But I think modes like this are what create superfans who are still thinking about your game 20 years later. At the very least, it shows a level of confidence in your gameplay design if you're willing to take the time and actually break it down in a lesson or a lecture. Getting back to the machine training facility, it's a building full of these minigames that level up specific stats. And if you think this is going to be an easy ticket for power leveling, some of these games get hard really quick past the first level or two. It is basically mandatory that you spend at least a little time doing this, since it's actually your ticket to unlocking power shot special moves, aside from the basic one you start with. There's a Donkey Kong-ass treadmill runner where just one or two mistakes send you flying off the platform. There's a timed coin collection elevator platformer, and it takes place on giant screws, I guess? Honestly, while some of these seemed impossible at first, it was actually a lot like learning a real-world skill, where sometimes you just fail over and over until it clicks. This wall practice minigame just felt impossible for the longest time, until somehow I got into the zone and ended up getting a score so high that I had to lose on purpose just so I could leave and go do something else. After all this practice and leveling up, you defeat your classmates in the junior varsity court, then the varsity court, and eventually become your school's top-ranked player just in time for the Island Open tournament. Your classmates show up to give you this bittersweet send-off as you're boarding the bus, only for the principal and admin to show up and tell everyone that actually they got accommodations for everyone so they can come cheer you on. Once you're at the Island Open tournament, even though you're still playing tennis matches, being able to see the bracket progress, sleeping in the resort cabin at the end of the day instead of the dorm, and seeing the remaining competitors thin out after each round does kind of make it feel different. After making it through the bracket, you win the Island Open tournament, you stand victorious on the podium in front of all your defeated opponents, and former rivals from the Tennis Academy, and then it hits you with a to be continued. Wait, to be continued? Next you start up the game just as usual and wake up in the dorm, only to find Alex calling you to a mysterious new mission. Saying nothing, he starts acting really strange as he takes you to the star statue in the school courtyard, and then opens up to reveal a secret passageway. He starts checking if the coast is clear, and just as you demand to know what the hell is going on, they finally reveal the mystery. Now, I don't want to spoil anything for you, but I'll give you a little hint. It's a famous Nintendo character, and also his name might be in the title of the video game. I kind of love how this is earnestly played for dramatic irony, where the players knows exactly what's coming, but the characters have no idea. And it also has this element I love, where the main character of the previous game still gets to show up and act like a senior or mentor character. Now you face the real tournament as you leave the academy and the island open behind, and you get on a plane and fly all the way up to Mario World to face off in the Peach Dome. And as great and epic as this intro is, I don't think they quite nail the pacing here. You do get to see all the Nintendo characters, and they do a long, slow pan of the massive crowds at the Peach Dome, but they don't quite build up the suspense anymore, and it feels like kind of a rush to get to the ending. Personally, I wish we'd spend even more time giving these side characters more personality, which is something I'm really enjoying about Haikyuu, which I'm currently reading and watching. Some of these side characters I expected to just be random jobbers end up having their own flashbacks, their own motivation, and a backstory that adds a lot of texture to what could otherwise be just a generic obstacle in our hero's journey to the top. In this case, maybe that would be too far into a slow burn RPG pacing than they wanted to go, but it could be interesting to think about. Even so, Mario Tennis Power Tour is worth a look, because it's not some cookie-cutter tennis game with mascot characters just slapped on it. Its vision of a school-life sim and RPG mechanics plays to Camelot's strengths, but it still comes in a package that's easy to pick up and play for short sessions on the go. The game's scenario and structure add stakes to the matches, and the NPC challenger you're stuck on can become your arch nemesis. And that's exactly what connects the simple pixel art on the screen to the dramatic showdown of your favorite sports anime. Hey, thanks for watching. While I have you here, if you're in the mood for more GBA games, check out this Christmas-themed platformer that was way better than I expected. Or, for more Nintendo goodness, a playthrough of the original NES Metroid, but with a ROM hack that adds a minimap and balance tweaks to make the game more approachable to a modern audience. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.